welcome back to State Champs Hockey Time. I'm Jonathon Kidd along with Sean Baligian. You are looking live at the State Champs Studios on the campus of Lawrence Technological University. And I saw that Brent Musburger line.
Yeah, it was. Now, which camera do I look at?
No, look right there.
Okay, I am so lost without the camera pointer. What you guys, now is it this camera?
Yeah, that's the camera.
This one. Yeah. All right, no, I am so lost without the camera pointer here today, so it really is a blast to be here, though. I mean, so much great hockey to talk about. There were great games last night, great stories last night, and John, great games all over the state today. I can't wait. Let's do it.
Yes, we're going to preview all the regional finals that are happening tonight, but first, State Champs Hockey Time is presented by our friends at the Alta Equipment Company. Shout out again to our boys at Alta and Chris Mahalik.
I say it all the time. We cannot do what we do without these guys. Seriously, to all of our sponsors, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I honestly, I say this each and every week. Please support those who support us and support this great game. Thank you very much.
And we are, of course, we are live on the State Champs YouTube channel, and we have Rock and Rye Robbie with us today. Again, he's going to be monitoring the comments, so let's go to Robbie right now. There he is. He has his Fago. So, hi, Robbie.
Fago's here. Hello, boys. How are we doing? I'm excited to be here. We love talking hockey, and I love interacting with our fans, so hopefully they submit some great questions for you guys to talk about.
All right. So, let's just get right into it, and let's talk about the games that happened last night. And how about in the Division III regional final between the Sioux and Escanaba? The Sioux won 4-0. They are moving on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, you know what? I said it a couple months ago. I got a chance to see them when we were in Traverse City, and then I saw them again, John, when they were downstate at the showcase. I like this team. I think they're sneaky good. They're big. I don't think the record is reflective of the type of season they had. I'm not surprised at all that they're at this point. They were my pick after all, and I'm going to stick with them. So that looks good on the Sioux for sure.
Yeah, and what about their chances in the quarterfinals here? Obviously, we're going to be talking about who they're going to be playing here in just a second, but just talk about their play over the last few weeks.
Well, it's two great stories, you know, and so often it's about getting right at the right time. It really is. And I think the Sioux has been in that process. They've played some tough games, but they're taking on a team that we've talked about since the first week of the season in Jeffers that have a little something special going on. Not just a little something special, a lot of special. It's a great story. And once you get past the great story part of it, you know what you have? You have a really darn good team as well. So that's pretty stinking cool. Great stories with the Jets, and that should be an epic matchup,
And we're going to play you those highlights right now, the highlights of the game between Jeffers and Houghton from last night. 5-1 victory. This is Jeffers' first regional championship in 48 years.
It is just huge. I mean, so awesome for the community. I think so awesome for the game as a whole. I mean, Houghton, we know how much Houghton has meant not only to their community, but really all over the state. I mean, some of the classiest guys you'll find, and certainly one of the usual suspects. But, John, we say it time and time again. If you want to become a usual suspect, you beat some of the usual suspects and you take a nice ride in the playoff, and that's exactly what the Jets have done.
All right, before we get to our interview with Coach Aaron from the Jeffers, let's take you into the locker room for the post-game celebration.
Here we go, boys, right here. This is it. We got a Bucky. Oh, this guy was buzzing all night long. Hat trick and an assist. Bang. Take that hat trick, Buck. What's this for?
Hat trick Buck playoffs.
Oh, good game. All aboard. I ain't saying that again. Okay, great. I don't know. Team effort out there. Feels great to get the first regional win. I don't know. That's about it. Enjoy it, right? And then back to work. We got the Sioux on Saturday.
All right, so we have a special guest here on Hockey Time, Sean. Let's introduce him.
Isn't that awesome? Coach, first of all, congratulations. I mean, it's such a great story. We were just talking about it. It's such a great story for you guys all over the state. But let's start there. What does this mean to your community? I've been told by a couple people it's the Adams family, Adams Township. You bring them all together, but you're playing, of course, as the Jets. What does this mean to you guys?
Yeah, again, thanks for having us on. Yeah, it means a lot. The boys have found a way. They went to work, and here we are with our community support, celebrating a regional win.
And just talk about the game yesterday against Houghton. Obviously, one of your big rivals. You beat them for the second time this season. Just elaborate more about the victory yesterday.
Yeah, it means a lot, right? We grow up in the same youth hockey association with a lot of these guys from Houghton, right? These kids play together. You coach them, as they're, in their youth, and come together and battle it out. It's like a backyard rink match. Just excited to get the win.
Coach, let's talk about, obviously you have a stud on your team. There's no mistake about that. But come playoff time, you need different guys to step up. Benton Rayala stepped up big time last night. We just saw the interview with him. 3 goals and an assist. Talk about what you saw out of that young man last night. I thought his comments in the locker room were outstanding. I loved every second of it. That's a guy that just wants to play hockey.
Yeah, definitely, right? So happy for Benton. He's played so well. He's been challenged. He's our captain. He's our leader in so many ways. He's got a great skill set, and for him to put it together, right, put the boys on his back and lead the team throughout, and step up, right? We got two really almost 1A type of guys with Britt and Benton, and just excited that he was able to rise to the occasion and show what he's capable of.
Well, you mentioned Britt. Let's go right into him. I mean, this is a guy, the numbers speak for themselves. I can't tell you, Coach, how many people reached out to us, really even starting before the season, and said, hey, keep an eye on this kid, and we certainly have. What jumps out to you? For somebody that hasn't seen Britt play yet, how can you describe his style of play?
Britt, he's just relentless. He just goes to work, game in, game out, just a hardworking kid, and you can't say enough about him. If you watch him out there, he empties his gas tank. He's about spent. He's coming off the ice.
And just how special is it that you guys first regional championship since 1977?
Yeah, that's great. Great for that program.
I love every second of it. Jimmy Young described your style to me, our mutual friend Jimmy Young, as organized chaos. Is that a pretty fair statement, Coach?
Yeah, I guess, we kind of go hybrid, right? You got the kids you got, and you work with them, and we defend well, so
what do you know about the Sioux? I think a lot of eyes all over the state are going to be looking at this one. Sioux, big team, good team. What can you tell us about the Sioux from your perspective?
Yeah, so far, right? Big gritty team. They've had some big wins against some teams this season. Some big teams in the state that have done well. So we expect to be a tough, tight match, gritty, well coached, good goaltender in the net. So we expect a great battle on Saturday.
Well, thank you very much, Aaron, for taking the time on Hockey Time, and congratulations once again to you and the Jeffers to making it, the Adams family, making it to the quarterfinals for the first time in a long time. And thank you again for all your support on Hockey Time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having us. Appreciate everything you do.
No, thank you.
All right, so let's just keep it going, but just talk quick about their chances against the Sioux.
Well, listen, a lot of times, John, I say this all the time, okay? It is impossible for you, it is impossible for me to see everybody. It just is, okay? And so what we have to do is we have to rely on word of mouth. And there are some really good people up there that told us very early this year, before the season started, keep an eye out for the Jets. So from afar, we've been watching the Jets week in, week out. And there's a reason why, Johnny, they made our rankings very early in the year. And all they've done is live up to it. So I'm going to say it again. While we're all lathering up and what a great story it is, and it is, make no mistake about it, don't forget this is a really, good team. And that's anybody's hockey game. When those two get together in Marquette on Saturday, it's anybody's hockey game. Sioux has done things the right way, even after all their losses from last year. The Jets are on this magic run. Whoever wins that game, Johnny, they deserve to punch that ticket to USA. So that's another one of those games. I wish I could clone myself and get up to Marquette.
Yeah, how many times you've said, you haven't really said it this much this year, the clone thing. You said it a few times.
Well, you know what? As we've grown our coverage, thankfully we've got some cameras out everywhere. And everything.
David Bodine up in the cover puncher.
I love Bodine. I love that little cheese cutter thing he's got on his head too. But no, listen, thank you to all the guys out there that help us, that are our eyes when we can't get eyes live, and that should be a dandy up there in Marquette.
All right, let's just keep it going here. Let's preview the rest of the regional semifinals in Division 3, and let's start in Regional 19. That starts tonight at 6 p.m. You got Petoskey taking on the Bay Reps.
Well, the Bay Reps, obviously we're going to talk about Boynton Fisher, and rightfully so. He was darn good as a sophomore, probably even better as a junior. Just wait till you see this kid next year. He's thinking about this year for sure. Junior defenseman Carter Denoyer, 4 helpers in their win. Lots to like about Bay Reps. They've got a great staff up there. And for the Northmen, how about Chase LaFave and Linus Cateret? 3 points each. It should be a lot of fun, John, to see how that game plays itself out.
All right, let's just keep it going here. Let's go to Regional 20 now. We're saying Northern Michigan. And how about the game tonight between Alpena and Gladwin?
I really love this Alpena team. I think, in my mind, John, they're a team that, if it's possible, have flown under the radar. And I'm not sure that's fair with all the noise that they've made. And Gladwin with that big win, but I think a lot of people, look at that. Isn't that great?
Look at those Alpena Wildcat fans.
Support the Cats. But you've seen Alpena play a tough schedule. We saw them up close and personal a few different times. Alpena is certainly the team to beat in this one.
All right, let's keep it going. Let's go to Regional 21. Out on the west side of the state, you got East Grand Rapids taking on Grand Rapids Christian tonight at Ferris State.
Well, let me get this out of the way first, okay? Just one of those things I have to say. I think it's a crying shame that it could be potentially East Grand Rapids and Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Let me get that out of the way. But in the meantime, I think...
What do you think about this game tonight between GR Christian? They have a good goalie?
Yeah,
and also at East Grand Rapids?
Josh Hooper had 3 goals and an assist. I think Coach Zimmerman's done a really good job with this Christian team. And we've talked up EGR all year. Ross and Owen and Albers up front. I really like Owen Stropkai. He's back to healthy again. Finch in net.
Yep.
This should be a darn good game, but I think a little too much for EGR in this one when all is said and done.
Yeah, you got our Player of the Year candidate in James Albers, and the winner of that game will play the winner of Regional 22, and that's tonight at Orchard Lake St. Mary's as they take on Jackson Lumen Christi.
Well, Lumen Christi is a team that has been in our rankings a little bit. And, John, goaltending at this level is so important. Zach is a special goaltender.
A Wallward candidate.
No doubt. The Dumonts, Josh and Luke, 4 points and 3 points in the playoffs, so that's fantastic. Listen, OLSM, probably the favorite in Division 3. We know how that works out. It doesn't always mean that you're going to, navigate the tough waters, but Rainish and Roberts and Johnston up front, 2 goaltenders early. I'm going to say it again. I think it's a shame that the 2 favorites in Division 3, because they are, EGR and OLSM, might potentially meet at this point in the season, but here we are, a lot of that going around.
Quickly, is this a type of game that Lumen Christi, with their goalie with Jokala, can steal this win? Steal this game.
John, you've been around long enough. Goaltending, I've seen it way too many times. I have. I've seen a goaltender put a team on their back. Goaltending is integral at this level of play. And if you have a guy in the zone, you have a special goaltender, and Zach really is, my goodness gracious, you have a chance every 51 minutes your team takes the ice.
All right, let's head to Regional 23, and this is the game that I am going to right after this show. It is Cranbrook taking on Warrendale South for the Regional 23 championship.
That's another dandy. Let's start with the defending champions, Timko and DeSalvo, Tice in net. They've been there. They've done that. So many of these guys were part of that team that made that magical run. And for DLS, I think Cavatalo had 2 helpers against Liggett. the Blackwood brothers. Obviously, we've got a goaltending, wall guy as well on our list. So that should be a dandy out there. That's anyone's hockey game as far as I'm concerned, Johnny.
Yes, and the winner of that game will take the winner in Regional 24. And let's roll the bracket right now. It is going to be Detroit Country Day taking on Riverview Gaber Richard. This is like an old Metro League matchup tonight. Both teams had 2-1 victories in the regional semifinals.
And I think they're both teams in the last few years that have found a way to kick it up a notch or three come playoff time. Hey, we've been talking up Ryder Novak for good reason. Kid's a stud.
Yep,
he
there.
really is. He's a stud. Let's not forget about Crozier as well. He's had himself a fine season. And RGR, you talk about Frank with DCD. I think you have to talk about Ricky with RGR. Venturini has had himself a nice year. Connor in net. This is another one of those games, Johnny. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in regards to who wins this one.
And right here you had the winner from Connor Forrester in the game against Birmingham Unified. It was pizza time in the locker room.
Yeah, I remember that from a couple of years ago.
Well, they had peanut butter and jelly. This is now pizza.
Okay, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. You know what? That's what it's all about, boys. It's fun and find a way to keep winning hockey games.
All right, so that was our regional preview in Division 3, and let's go to Rock and Rye Robbie with the comments right now. So Robbie, take it away.
All right, we got 2 questions, and of course they're regarding the elephant in the room, and that is, and this question comes from the legend of Downriver, Mr. Alex Muller himself. This question's for you, Sean. Heartland CC aside, regional final you're most excited for?
Ooh. Wow. Probably the potential. Oh man, that's a tough one. You know what? How about I'm going to go with Christian and EGR.
Okay.
I am. I'm going to go with Christian and EGR. I think that one's really intriguing to me. That one's really intriguing to me. I'll go with that one.
Yeah, I like that Cranbrook DLSL game tonight.
Pretty hard to argue.
Because people forget, Cranbrook is the defending Division III state champs. DLSL with their Walward candidate and Sakowski. I think that one, I could see that one going to maybe 1 or 2 overtime.
I like Northville Brighton too.
Yeah, Northville Brighton.
I've been saying it all year. I think Brighton, obviously they get themselves right. Northville, the job that Coach Assemacher is doing with that team, and they got 2 really, more on that in a second, but that's another good one. But Alex, continued success and good work to you, my friend. Really appreciate everything you do.
All right, let's continue on with our preview of the regional finals. Let's go to Division 2 and back out on the west side of state, Regional 9. You got Muskegon Reese Puffer taking on Traverse City Central. In about a couple hours, less than a couple hours away, you got the legend behind the bench at Traverse City Central and Chris Gibbons.
Yeah, you know what? Knapp with the shutout for Coach Gibbons. I think a lot of people around the state would love to see him make yet another run. One of my favorite guys in the state. Anytime I can give this guy a shout out, I will. Matthew McKinney on defense. And Coach Gibbons is a guy that not only does so much for his team, so much for Traverse City, but really does so much for high school hockey. I can't thank Coach Gibbons enough for everything that he does. And, John, lest we forget, Puffer's a team that made it to USA last year in Division 1. Hartzell had 4 points. Tyndall and Taylor had 3 points each in that playoff game. Rockets are a very dangerous team. This should be a dandy.
Yes, and they'll be hosting a doubleheader in Muskegon. We'll have more about that game in just a little bit. And how about in Region 10? Let's roll the bracket right now. Granville is taking on Byron Center. Granville won 1-0 on Monday. Byron Center, it was a 3-2 triple overtime, winner for Byron Center. A little controversy. Sean, let's talk a little more about this.
Well, you know what? I don't want to take anything away from Byron Center. They are the defending Division II champion, okay? Nothing against you guys. This has nothing to do with you, but we have to call it for what it was. I mean, my heart breaks for Caledonia. The goal didn't go in. We all saw the replay. The goal didn't go in. I am never, ever going to bash on officials or goal judges. It is not an easy job. It's heartbreaking, but it's all about surviving and advance. My heart goes out to the scouts, though. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. That's a tough break, but in the meantime, you got a fantastic matchup here. This is another one. Back to Alex's question. I might say Granville and Byron Center for being the one that jumps out to me. They're the champs. Did we mention that? Division II champs. McKee's off to a great start. 34 stops by their goaltender. It is still a dangerous Byron Center team. Speaking of goaltenders on a heater, how about Karras for Granville? 2 playoff games, 2 shutouts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty special in and of itself. Ellsman and Smith, a couple, 2 points each, but Karras with 2 shutouts.
Yeah.
When a goaltender's hot like that, John, you see it time and time again. The confidence comes from the goaltender out for the rest of the team. So that's anybody's game.
Yeah, so this should be a good one out in Kalamazoo tonight, and they'll take on the winner of, Reese Puffer and Traverse City. Now let's go to Regional 11 as we have Midland taking on Marquette.
What a great job that Coach Witt has done this year. They are a team that has kind of just been out of our rankings all year long, but he's done a fantastic job. He's a great guy as well. How about Rusty Boyle? He had a 9-point night for Midland. 5 goals, 4 assists. Their sophomore goaltender, Partapillo, is playing really well. That's going to be a tough matchup for Marquette. But, Johnny, as we talked about all year, Marquette wants the tough matchups. Yeah. That's why you saw Doug Garrow, another great guy, I might add, schedule the way he did, the travel, the tough teams. This is a really good team. Sheldon and Sandstrom, 2 goaltenders that can beat you on any given night. This is another one. Can I throw this one out there as a game that's really intriguing to me?
Well, I had the Bay City Wolves winning this region. Obviously, Midland beat them. Congratulations to Midland. Great season for the Bay City Wolves. I'm going to go with Marquette tonight.
Yeah, that I kind of liked Marquette.
Sorry, Steve. Sorry, Coach Witt. But.
There's something to be said about that team that plays that schedule and has all that travel, and they take their lumps, and that's why, John, I say it once, I say it 1,000 times. I think sometimes people pay too much attention to overall records. Dig a little deeper and see what their schedule looks like and perhaps some of the travel that they made. And Coach Garrow certainly has his squad ready for playoff.
All right, let's go to Regional 12 out in the Flint area tonight. We have Flint Powers taking on Lakeland. State champs will be at the game, so say hi to Ryan Slocum, Flint Powers and Lakeland fans. Let's talk about this one. Lakeland, you had them in the rankings late in the season. Flint Powers has been one of the favorites to win Division II. What do you see out of this matchup tonight?
Yeah, Lakeland was in my rankings almost the entire season. At the very end, I kind of took them out because a couple teams had been playing so well. Talk about a guy that's doing a great job. How about Coach Ronayne? He's done a fantastic job building Lakeland into, John, dare I say,
a usual suspect.
He really has. Scanlon had a big year. Bennett solid in net. What more do I need to say about Flint Powers? They are, in my mind, the team to beat in Division II. Cook and Perry. How about Vorwerk with 3 helpers, John, for them? And that's enough. And you got the goaltender in Clark. Just too much with Powers.
Yeah, I know. And then we have Cook. Aiden Cook is in our Player of the Year competition. You got Wallward in Hunter Clark. And then talk about the play of Perry, the freshman, making a big impact for Powers.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, there are a couple guys in the state, more on one later. But I think you could include Finch in that, the kid from Howell that we'll talk about.
Maybe an all-freshman team?
It is unbelievable how many good freshmen there are in this state. I mean, and those 3 really come front and center. I loved Perry's game. I told you the day that we did it, I made a point to text Coach Perry and tell him, how much I appreciated Owen. And boy, oh boy, they are. That's a tough team, man. It's going to be tough for anybody to beat Flint Powers.
Yeah, I could see this one being a close game tonight with Powers pulling away. Maybe like a 4-1, 4-2 kind of victory.
Yeah, look, I like Powers, period.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah. I like Powers in Division II. I have for a long time now, but hey, Midland's got a little something going on right now. Let's see if they can continue the mojo.
All right, let's keep it going here on Hockey Time. In Regional 13, we have Rochester United taking on St. Clair Shores Unified. This game will be at 8 o'clock at the St. Clair Shores Civic Arena. State champs will be at the game, so say hi to Nick Ellery at the game. So what do you see about in this matchup?
2 really good teams. I like a lot about both these teams, John.
Shout out to Rochester United. They gave me some updated footage. So because they gave me a couple messages like, you're showing some old school footage the last few weeks. Here's some current footage.
Well, no, and that's Coach Penning. I think his attention to detail is fantastic. And one of the things that I think you have to say about both of these teams is the youth on this team. Look at the underclassmen on both of these teams. These are two programs that have gotten a lot out of their team this year, but you can't help see. We in the media, we're allowed to do this. These guys are focused on tonight, but we in the media, we're allowed to do this. You can look ahead and say, hey, you know what? The Lakers are going to be really dangerous next year. RU is going to be really dangerous next year, so that's fun.
And we have another guest joining us now on Hockey Time. And Sean, you know him a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've known him my whole life pretty much, and his whole life. Yeah, his whole life for sure. This is the head coach at SCS and my cousin as well, Nick Radjewski. First of all, Coach, I know it's busy with game day. Really appreciate you joining us, bud. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for doing this. I just love all those things you guys do to promote the product. It's awesome. Thanks for having me.
And just talk about this road to get here tonight to play for a regional championship. And when was the last time St. Clair Shores Unified won a regional championship?
I mean, I saw Jeffers do it last night. We haven't go back 48 years, but it has been a while. I think 2009 was the last year the program won a regional. We played in one 2 years ago and lost it. And, you know, having been here for 11 years now, it's been a slow, steady climb to hopefully become one of those usual suspects you guys talk about here eventually.
Nick, I think the thing that jumps out to me right now is the underclassmen that are doing what they're doing for you. I mean, you've got a slew of really good junior plays. Not taking anything away from your senior leadership, but watching these guys grow throughout the year, and especially the way that they showed up in your playoff game. Just talk about what you've seen out of these kids in their growth during the course of the season.
Yeah, it's been great. And honestly, like all the juniors that you're talking about, with the exception of maybe one player, you know, these kids have been in the program for 3 years now. So, you know, the growth has been happening for 3 years. And I think that the biggest difference that when you become a usual suspect is you get those kids who have been in the culture, in the system for 2 or 3 years. So like seeing these kids, what they looked like 2 years ago in a regional final, and now, you know, they kind of have they're a little bit more battle tested. They're ready to get into games, and, you know, they expect to do well and compete. So it's been great, you know, and as they grow physically and they grow as players, it's, you know, like we're in a good position this year and next year, hopefully, with all these kids.
And just talk about the matchup against Rochester United tonight. So what are you going to see, you know, what advantages that you guys want to take advantage of in this game?
It's a kind of interesting game. Like, you know, obviously, like pretty much everybody, we've been watching a lot of film on them. And, like, in some ways, we're like polar opposites. You know, I believe they were like a top 10 team defensively in the state this year, and we were a top 15-ish team offensively. So it's going to be interesting to see what style can win out today. We don't expect it to be easy. It's going to be tough. They were the 1 seed for a reason. But I think the biggest thing that we have going for us is we have depth. We can run 3 to 4 lines consistently all game long, and hopefully that can make the difference in the end.
Nick, one more thing before we let you go, and really appreciate the time, bud, but you have 2 junior goaltenders. One of them, Will Young. This is a guy that I had a chance to see him in the summer. He certainly didn't look out of place amongst the best in the state. It looks to me like he's figuring things out right now and perhaps playing his best hockey of the season.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he went through a little bit of a funk in the middle of the year. It happens to everybody, you know, just kind of searching for his game. But I would say mid-January, like, the results started getting tighter and tighter, and his last 3 starts have been A+. And so Will's played playoff games for us before, and we're super confident when he's in the net.
Well, good luck to you guys tonight. As I said in our preview of the game, that we'll have state champs at the game tonight. Nick, who you saw at the Winter Classic game there a couple months ago, will be taping the game. So you'll see a familiar face at state champs at the game.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Good luck, pal.
No problem. And now, so what do you think of this matchup?
I'm not picking this one. That's my cousin. No way. You think I'm going to pick against my cousin? You're out your mind. No, you know what? This is anybody's hockey game. It is. I mean, 2 young teams, 2 teams heading in the right direction. I liked what I saw. Here's the thing. Like, I thought both conferences kind of took a step up this year too, John. And I
don't
think
sleep on the MAC.
I think that helps things out. Make no mistake about that. So that was one thing I wanted to say to Nick. I mean, I think some of those teams, whether it be Ike and obviously Chip Valley and Romeo and SCS and even Anchor Bay had their moments. I think it just makes these teams more battle-tested come playoff time.
All right, let's keep it rolling here on Hockey Time Live. Regional 14, we got the Battle of Livonia tonight at 6 p.m. Livonia Stevenson taking on the Livonia Red Stallions. The Red Stallions, they have Pasco at net. and obviously we've talked about Stevenson a lot with Lang and all.
Yeah, we've seen Coach Jason Reynolds and his teams do this in the past when he was the head man at Churchill, and now with the Stallions, they seem to find a different level come playoff time. Make no mistake about that. Coach Vento, as you know, a fantastic assistant. It really was. A couple guys up front. Williamson up front, Curto up front. You mentioned Quinn Pasco in the net as well. So, there are some pieces to like, but look, Livonia Stevenson has been a wagon this year. They really have. They went through their little lull, and all of a sudden they kind of figured things out, Johnny. Their top line is outstanding. You've got Lang up front. Obviously, you've got Hall up front. We know how good he can be. Strobel on the back end. Too many weapons for the Livonia Stevenson Spartans.
All right, and Regional 15 tonight. Let's go to, and this game is at the Allen Park Ice Arena, downriver. But you have two Catholic League teams squaring off. Brother Rice taking on UAD Jesuit. UAD Jesuit, 6 wins on the season, but one of them's the Brother Rice, 2-0 a couple weeks ago, and the Trenton.
Yeah, Vance Sardaz is a guy, a couple goals against GPS. That jumps out to you. How about Petrosov with 30 stops in net as well? I mean, that's huge. And how many times have we said it? A goaltender can make all the difference in the world. For Rice, you had Beat with Hattie, Valer with a couple of helpers. I love their defense core. John, we saw them a few weeks ago in Brighton. I think their defense core activates, and so much of what they want to do starts from a defense core that can really move the puck, and two different goaltenders that can make your life miserable. So, hey, you know what? It's good on UAD to win that game, and to too much Rice in this one. Just too much Rice in this one.
So the winner of that regional will take on the winner of Regional 16. That is going to be between Trenton and the Temperance Bedford Kicking Mules. Love that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic nickname. How about Lutz? He had a nice season. Their goaltender had 28 stops as well. That's big on them. But again, John, Trenton's loaded.
Trenton is Trenton.
Yeah, they are. There's no
like Brighton is Brighton, Trenton is Trenton.
No doubt about that. Durbin, Sparks, LeMay, Civi. I mean, we can go on and on and on. This is a loaded team. I'm going to say the same thing that I said last week. It's a shame that Rice and Trenton have to meet where they do in the playoff, but here we are. Just too much Trenton in this one, too much Trojan.
So if it ends up being Brother Rice and Trenton, the game will be Saturday at Allen Park.
Yeah, that's huge, right in Trenton's
and
backyard.
we'll be talking about those quarterfinals and what we're going to be doing here at State Champs at the end of the show. Remember that.
Really? What are we doing?
I don't know. Well, stay tuned.
Did you like that? I'm real good at playing dumb. So I'm looking forward to it. No, really. All jokes aside, we have something really cool. Yeah. If you guys are watching the show, you're high school hockey fans. We have something really cool on Saturday.
All right, let's bring it back to Rock and Rye Robbie into the comments. I know he had a few. I know that he was texting me during this last segment that he has a few in the cooker.
Yeah, so we went back into the DMs, and Dan in our DMs asked, with the slow February or maybe the unusual February that Stevenson had, are they turning a corner, Sean?
I liked what I saw out of them the last couple games that I saw them. I think turning the corner, I think you could say that. I think they battened down the hatches and they're playing more Stevenson hockey. And I think you know what I mean by Stevenson hockey. It's limiting the opposition, keeping the goals down. They were involved in some crazy games this year, some very un-David Mitchell-like games, some shootouts and whatnot. So I think when you see them all buying into team defense and limiting teams and trying to get things going in transition the other way, I think Stevenson's playing the right way right now, Johnny.
All right, yeah, absolutely. And actually, I got one DM I wanted to share quick because people are like, when are you guys going to talk about girls hockey? The girls hockey playoffs are starting this week and the playoffs start tomorrow. Let's roll it right now. So here are the matchups for the Division II playoffs that will be at Canton at the Arctic Edge Arena. So there's Division II right there. And Kevin must roll Division I. So all these games are going to be in Canton. So good luck to all the girls here. And I just wanted to say something quick. We've mentioned girls hockey on State Champs Hockey Time, and we have featured girls hockey on state champs in our 20 years. Just talk about the growth of high school hockey. The girls.
I love it, and I think one of the best things they did this year, Johnny, is have their own place. Instead of being out at USA, they have their own place. And what's so cool about that is to see all the communities. I can tell you this. I'm out in Northville, John, and it's big out there. Yeah. It's pretty cool to watch what Coach Candela and the gang are doing out there. It's fantastic. I know it's big in Livonia. It's big on the east side. You're really seeing the growth of the game. I will say this until I'm blue in the face, okay? The game is the game. I don't care who's playing it. I love the game. I will always promote the game. I don't care if it's the Martians taking on the Venusians. I will promote a game between Venus and Mars because I love the game of hockey. And if you love the game of hockey, it's getting pretty good at the girls level.
Yes. So good luck to all the girls in the state playoffs this coming weeks. And just letting you know, state champs will be at the girls hockey state finals. I guarantee you that. But we also have Robbie with one more question.
Sean, you'll like this one. I think you'll both like this one. This is in a comment of the girls hockey tournament. Kyle Marchand said, "So wait, a ranked playoff hockey tournament? What a concept."
God bless you. God bless. You mean it can happen? No, really? Don't get me started. You know how I feel. I'm
He's still hot from last week, all right?
Yeah, that's an understatement.
That's why he put a hat on.
That's an understatement.
Oh, just to let you guys know, he is not bald underneath that hat.
No,
just so you know.
I got hair.
See, last year he was singing like, he was a skater boy last year.
Yeah, it was a little longer last year, but no.
He was hot last week.
1,000%. I'm sorry it can happen. Yeah. There's no reason why it can't happen, okay? And let me give you an example. You know what? Jeffers has earned their way there.
Yep.
They weren't forced anywhere. They earned their way there. It can happen, this infatuation with the Cinderella and let's try to set it up. No. Jeffers earned their way. Yep. They weren't given anything. They went out and beat teams, and they have an opportunity to do the unthinkable. If they knock off Sioux, they're going to USA Hockey Arena. When it happens naturally, when it happens organically, that's so much better than trying to shoehorn somebody in. And unfortunately, John, watch them get embarrassed on the wrong stage. Nobody wants to see that. You can seed it. You can make it happen. So make it happen.
All right. Sean is still hot. Oh, God. And we still got to go through Division 1, and let's do it right now. Regional 1, out on the west side. We got Chris Gorski, our established camera guy, out on the west side. He's going to be at this one tonight as well. Sparta taking on Muskegon, Mona Shores. Our good pal, Chris Benedict.
Yeah, how about Vanderwall? 3 helpers to help Mona Shores move on, getting really good goaltending out of Griff Gastonia, Gleason's a name that's been on our radar a couple years. He had 3 goals and a helper. Serba had a goal and 2 assists. Vance with 21 stops. Those are sharp unis, by the way.
I still like, this is probably the goal of the year because he knows where to go right there.
That's such a...
I love Tillman. I love Tillman.
Did I mention...
He loves you too. I'm just letting you know. He loved you in the locker room that day.
Did he really?
Yes.
I appreciate that.
No, he said, I love you, Sean Baligian.
If he can get me one of those light blue jerseys, that thing is just beauty.
Chris Benedict?
No.
Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
I don't want the jersey. No. I don't want the jersey. I'm just saying how beautiful that jersey is. I mean, it really is. But that should be a fantastic game between Sparta and Mona.
All right, just let you know, when Chris Gorski gets there, I want Chris Benedict to say, I'm Chris Gorski on the west side. You know, the Blackstreet song, no diggity, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Regional 2, still on the west side of the state. We got Forest Hill Central taking on the Kalamazoo Eagles. Let's talk quickly about this before our special guest.
I really have liked Forest Hills all year. I've said it all year. Lipke, 2-2. Milok had a goal and an assist. Boy, that kid, you go to war with a guy like that. Bateson had 22 stops in the shutout. Jenison is a team that really intrigues me. The Daleks, or Bidaleks, Jack Bidalek with 40 points, Sam Bidalek with 37 points. This is an intriguing game, a game that there's familiarity. Yep. These two teams have seen each other, but we'll let our guest talk about that.
All right, and he is joining us now from the west side of the state. This is like the third time we have seen this guy, like either in person or on screen. It is Bill McSween, the head coach at Forest Hill Central. Coach, thank you for taking the time. I know it's game day, but thank you for taking the time.
Oh, my pleasure. It's always good to talk to you guys.
Coach, I talk so often about teams trying to improve the schedule and get those tests during the season. I remember talking to you before the season started. This was a tough slate for your boys. I think they passed so far with flying colors. What have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really tough set of games. You know, we went through it at the end of the year, and I think there was something like 13 of our games were against top 25 teams. So it was a really tough slate of games for us, but that's what prepares you for games like we're going to have tonight when we're going to face a good team. We're used to playing really tough games and facing adversity, so hopefully it helps us out for tonight's game.
Now, a couple weeks ago, me and Sean made the nice trip to the west side of the state for the OK Conference tournament. It was a huge success. We got a lot of feedback in our neck of the woods saying, man, we want to do that. So what all came about forming this OK Conference tournament?
I think it was in the coaches meeting last year at the end of the year. Coach Brazil, it was kind of his brainchild, and it just kind of happened organically. And we just started bouncing ideas off each other, and kind of the basis is we want as many good games as possible. We want as many good matchups as possible. And it kind of came to, at the end of the year, let's have a top 4 bracket where each bracket is in the top 4, and then the bottom bracket. So that way they get teams that are similar to their skill level, and we get teams that are similar to our skill level. And it ended up working out fantastic. Like I think there was like 6 overtime games. It was incredible how tight the games were. A bunch of overtime games, and it's here to stay for the OK Conference. We're definitely going to do it again, and I recommend it throughout the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, Coach, there's some familiarity. You guys have played Jonathon earlier in the year. I got a chance to see them for the first time out on the west side. For people that aren't familiar, what jumps out to you about this Jonathon squad?
Well, Jonathon's really good. We're playing Kalamazoo tonight.
Kalamazoo, sorry. Jesus.
Yeah. So Jonathon's really good. I watched some
I'll get to Jonathon in a second. How's that?
Yeah.
So I watched some of the Kalamazoo team lately because I knew like we could face them, and they're really good. They're well coached. Coach JD does a fantastic job. They got some players. They got some really good players on their team. And so we got our work cut out for us tonight. I mean, they're well structured. I think they have 12 seniors, a lot of firepower up front, a lot of people that can put the puck in the net. So we're going to have to be on our game and make sure that we're playing with structure and that we're playing hard and we're playing discipline.
And just lastly, what would it mean for another regional championship for Forest Hill Central? Obviously, you guys made it all the way to USA a couple years ago. Some of these kids were on that team. You know, how battle tested are all these boys going into tonight for another regional?
We're battle tested. I mean, but there's going to be those nerves, right? And we're going to embrace them. Like, it's an incredible opportunity for us, and that is every single game going on tonight. Like, you remember this game for the rest of your life. The feeling in the locker room of the nervous energy before the game, to get to the togetherness of everything. And I think our team's battle tested. Now all that's left to do is drop the puck, let her rip, and play as hard as he possibly can.
Coach, one last thing before we let you go. I think everybody knows about the star power in your team. You know, Lipke and Gibby. Talk about the play of your goaltender. He got the shutout. You know, sometimes it seems like we're all talking about Milok and Lipke and Gibby.
Well, with Milok, there's 85 of them that's gone through the Forest Hill Central.
No doubt, but we can only talk about the one play
like
on
how
the
you get a
team
smile
this
on
year.
his face.
But honestly, sometimes when we're talking about the star power, and rightfully so, maybe you forget a little bit about your goaltender. He pitched a shutout. What can you say about his play?
He's playing his best hockey right now. He's playing really well. Really liked his practices. He's a fighter. Like he battles. He's going to give us everything he has. And he's playing his best hockey right now. Which is when you want your goaltender being your best at this time of year. So he's a battler. He works hard. We're excited to have him. we have all the confidence in the world that he'll be able to do the job.
Well, thank you very much, Coach, for taking the time. Good luck. Appreciate all the support. And I just have to say one time, free McSween.
Free McSween. Free McSween. I appreciate it. I also got to give a shout out to our captains, Rocco, Eli, and Gibb. They've done a fantastic job. Rocco Gonzalez, our captain, is an amazing leader. And we're doing this water challenge. So he's heading it up. And, I'm excited for tonight.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time, Coach.
Anytime. Thanks.
All right, let's just continue on. Regional 3. This game will be at the Munn Ice Arena at Michigan State. I think you know that campus quite
Familiar.
well. Well, your daughter goes there, right?
Yes, I was fortunate to call some games
And who's playing tonight?
Yeah, Howell and Cap City. You got to love that one. Let's start with Cap City. McConaughey had 3 helpers. Sean Story had a 13-save shutout. I think Joe Ford's done such a great job. As we talked about last week, that's become a really good rivalry.
Yeah.
Cap City and the Stars, that's become a really, really good rivalry.
And Howell, we've been saying it for the last few weeks. Coach Robertson, if we had votes, I think we'll vote for him for Coach of the Year in Division 1.
Pretty hard to argue with that. That other super freshman that we touched on earlier, Bryce Paitila, has been unbelievable. A goal and 3 assists in that one. Rory Sturos has been a guy who's been on fire all year long. He had 3 points. And Lansky, again, just goes
wall.
out there and
No
gets
heart,
the
right?
job.
No heart?
No heart. There's nothing there. He feels no pressure. 14 save shutout. So that's going to be a tough matchup for anybody. It really is going to be a tough matchup for anybody.
And I want to make a special shout out to Keith Robertson's daughter, Kaden. She's a cheerleader for Brighton High School, the rival school, but she recently committed to cheer at the University of Michigan.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, so they are in the state finals, so I got to give a shout out to a former Carlson alum, Christina Wilson Peacock. She's coaching the Bulldogs in the state finals. And also, Heartland, the KLA rivals, are also in the state finals in Division 1. You want to come back on Thursday? We'll preview the cheerleading state finals.
Sure, yeah, I'm all for it.
Maybe we'll flip it. I know some of the teams that are going on.
Yeah.
Carlson and Allen Park are favorites in Division 2.
I'll take your word for it.
The Rochester schools in Division 1.
No disrespect. They're all putting the word out there, but I'll defer to you in that regard.
Well, yeah, because I have to support my downriver school. So, why?
Stunner.
All right, so let's move ahead. Let's go to the Regional 4. This game is going on in 13 minutes. We got Clarkston taking on the Genesee County Generals. A great story. They used to be the old Davison Cardinal team. But Clarkston, who made it to the Final Four last year, they're Clarkston.
Another guy that you could legitimately say
Coach of the Year.
Deserves Coach of the Year.
In D1.
Coach Breyer. Yep. I mean, no doubt about that. What I like about Clarkston right now is the balance. They had 5 guys that had 2 points against Lake Orion. Brady Damien is a guy, remember his name. I have a feeling he's going to appear on the wall next week. How about this?
Next week?
Next year.
I was going to say, wow. Year. I know we have to talk about that in a few.
Genesee Rousseau had 8 points.
Yep.
That he had 2 other guys had 7 points in Bernard and Beckwith. So they've got some pieces, but right now the way that the Wolves are going and the depth that they have, boy oh boy, I like their chances.
All right, we're going to go to the east side for Regional 5. Utica Eisenhower is taking on Romeo, 7 o'clock at Suburban Ice in Macomb, and these teams played a couple weeks ago. Eisenhower was up 3-0. Romeo came all the way back, and they won 4-3 to win the MAC Red Championship.
Yeah, this is the third one. This is the rubber match. Ike beat them earlier in the year. How about let's start with the Bulldogs first. Romeo Basha with a hat trick. Lipasek with 3 helpers. I've talked about this guy a few times this year, and it bears repeating. That young man right there wearing the number 1, D'Angelo. This is a guy that's been a workhorse all year. And oh, by the way, he's been solid all year. For Ike, Hotchkiss and far up front. Connor Holmes, another solid goaltender. So this should be a dandy. The first 2 between these teams were a dandy, and this is the rubber match.
All right, so the winner of that region plays the Region 6. The game that everyone has been talking about. Number 1 Detroit Catholic Central taking on number 2 Heartland. State champs will be out there tonight. This has gotten now press. Now, like the Detroit News, and Bill Kahn wrote an article about this. The game is finally happening. Your take?
I hope that this game and this year is the impetus behind changing this. And I think every other coach in the state will agree. I hope that this game is the impetus behind changing it and seeding things. I'm done, okay? Let's focus on the hockey right now.
Yep.
You're talking about the two, no doubt about it in my mind, John, best teams in the state. One of my favorite guys his entire career is Ian Costomo.
Yes.
I love that kid. I love the way he plays, just always does so many little things. Ty Kraut is a just stud on defense. Yeah. You've got a wall guy in net for Sabala. Catholic Central, Blank is special. That is a very special player. I think Hemi is having himself a year as well. Peter Sannon, a very deep defense core for Catholic Central. This is a game that everybody has been thinking about. All right, I'm going to let people in on a secret. Everybody's been thinking about this game since September.
Yep.
Really?
We've known it since September.
Legitimately, people have been thinking
All right, I'm
about this game
I'm going to
since
ask you one
September.
question. I know
All
we
right.
talked about this, off camera. Mm-hmm. If we knew about this game in September and the game was going to be at Heartland, because they could think about having this game maybe at Yost Ice Arena or maybe at Farmington, because there are only going to be 700 fans that are allowed to be in this game. Because
It's going to be tough. It's a great barn.
It's a great barn.
Is.
Yeah,
I've
it's
been
great.
there many times, but when you're talking about a game of this magnitude, where legitimately, I'm not joking, you could probably get 5,000 at least at a bigger barn.
Yep.
You could probably get 5,000 at least. I wish they would have thought about changing it. I know Coach Gadwa. Coach Gadwa is a guy that is a what's good for the game type of person, okay? I know Coach Gadwa would be the first person to say, yeah, I'd give up the game at Heartland to have it at a bigger place. I mean, I know that's the type of person he is. I wish they did. They didn't. We have to deal with this. The boys have to go out there and prove who number 1 is and who number 2 is tonight in 51 minutes or more. No doubt about that. But it is, John, I think this is one it's going to live up to it. It's going to live up to the expectations.
Yes, and like I said, state champs will be out there, full coverage of the game, highlights, trophy presentation, everything will be on our social media. We got one more regional we got to preview. It is in Regional 8. Oh, no, actually, we got 2 more. Regional 7, we got Brighton taking on Northville at the Novi Ice Arena. Make sure you say hi to Kevin, Kevin Straczynski tonight. He'll be out covering the game for state champs. You got 2 KLA teams going at it.
2 outstanding defensemen for Northville. We've talked about them all year. Nelson was a little late to the party. McCallum's been a joy to watch in his time at Northville. There's Isaac Nelson right there. McCallum's been a joy to watch. Boy, when that kid takes the puck. Tommy Marinoff is a guy that every time I see him, he seems to get better and better. I love stories like this. Senior Cam McVitie, okay? Not exactly a prolific goal scorer. In the biggest game of the year, pops 2 against Nova. It was outstanding to watch. It was outstanding to watch his dad celebrate.
And what about Brighton? They had that little slump in January, but they have picked it on. It's like they have turned it on. It's Brighton. It's always Brighton at this time.
It is no coincidence that Brighton always seems to get right this time of year. I think it starts with their staff. Coach Gavisto, one of the best in the business.
Coach McDonald.
Eddie's a great guy as well. I'll say it again. So much of their success comes back to number 7 on the blue line. I love Watkins. Another one of those guys. Davatilla has been outstanding this year. And don't forget, Reese, their goaltender.
Yeah, Hutch.
Hutch has stepped up, no doubt about it. He's still only a junior. That should be a dandy out in Nova.
So what's the best thing about juniors?
They're going to be seniors next year.
Yep. Even though like sophomores, juniors, seniors.
The sophomore to junior jumps better.
Yeah, I know. And in Regional 8, another 2 KLA teams going at it. Rival schools. Plymouth versus Salem. This feels like Michigan, Ohio State. I call this like the barbecue chicken regional. Earlier in the year, Plymouth beat Salem. Salem is hot as of late with that line of Kaminsky, Chapit, and Patel. They have Eichner, Let's go about this game.
6 points for Patel. How about that? Chaput had 3 goals and 3 assists. Kaminsky had a goal and 3 assists. Sometimes people forget about the weapon on the blue line as well, and Eichner, he had 2 goals and assists. There's Plymouth right there. Irvin had a goal and 2 assists against the Cobras. We've seen Plymouth a couple times this year. No doubt about that. No, against the Cobras.
Yeah, my bad.
That's all right. But you know what? We've seen them a couple times this year. They're a well-coached team. You know they'd want nothing more than to be the team to knock Salem off. Johnny should be a dandy. I just say, boy, that top line's tough to corral.
And that game will be out in Royal Oak tonight. And let's bring back Rock and Rye Robbie. You know, any more comments before we almost wrapped up the show?
No more comments. I got a question though.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, so let's talk about the theme of those last 2 regionals, right? That was 4 KLA teams. There's 6 total in the Division I regionals, right? Sean and John, talk about the KLA and just how dominant and prolific they have been this year.
Well, it's not done yet, Robbie. The season isn't done yet, but right now, today, the KLA's been the best conference this year. They have. They've been the best conference
they won the MIHL KLA.
They won the showcase, but I think, you know, they've been the best conference this year, and I don't have any qualms saying that. But the measuring stick is what happens at USA Hockey Arena. Like it or not, it just is. And if you see a scenario where multiple MIHL teams, I'll be the first guy to change my tune and say that's when it matters. You know, if I'm not going to say any names, but if multiple teams find a way to win those division championships at USA Hockey Arena, you know, Robbie, again, I think most guys that have followed the season would probably say the same thing. I think the KLA's been, not by much, I'm not saying it's a blowaway, but I think the KLA's been the best conference this year, and I think this is the first time we can say that in quite some time.
Yeah, I know, because there could be a chance if Heartland wins tonight, you know, you could have a possibility of 3 KLA teams in the Final Four in Division I.
Yeah, you know, and conversely, look, the same thing could happen for
the
MIHL. I mean, they could sweep it for all intents and purposes, Johnny. So, you know, but that's what it's all about. It's what did you do in that weekend in March, and that's why these games are so big, and everybody, you know, the eyes are glued all over the state because it's all about punching that ticket to get yourself to USA, to give yourself a fighter's chance.
All right, so we're going to finally take a commercial break, but only for a minute, because we're going to have an update in our Wall Award and Player of the Year as well. So stay tuned here on State Champs Hockey Time Live.
If playing college sports is your dream, don't wait for a college coach to find you. Recruit yourself. At Lawrence Tech, we're looking for student athletes. LTU competes in the NAIA with 24 varsity sports and athletic scholarships. Explore new degree programs like sport management, where sports meets cutting-edge education. Visit LTURecruitYourself.com and just fill out the questionnaire. It's that easy. Lawrence Technological University. Be curious. Make magic.
At Alto Equipment, we know when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Alto Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction, including Volvo, Leeboy, Sonnebogen, Avant, ASV, and more to provide the state of Michigan with industry-leading service and support. Alto Equipment services all makes and models, and their technicians are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you have a big project? Alta Rents has you covered with the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
And welcome back to State Champs Hockey Time Live. I'm Jonathon Kidd along with Sean Baligian, and here's an update in our Warrior Hockey Player of the Year and Wall Award. We're going to keep it the same until after the regionals. We're going to get the committee involved after tonight, and we're going to freeze our top 10 for the Wall Award and the Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think, when are we getting together again? Monday? I have a feeling, John, that we
might be tomorrow.
No, I'm talking about to tape the show.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
We might tape the show tomorrow?
No. I'm saying for the Player of the Year and the Wall Award.
I am so confused. All right, so when are we going to tape the show is the question I'm asking.
Tuesday, Monday.
Okay, Monday. So when we get together on Monday, I have the feeling that we're going to be making some changes. How's that?
Yeah. So what you see, could you see potential changes here in our final top 10?
Yeah, like I said, I have a feeling when we get together to tape again, I have a feeling we're gonna make some changes. You know, we're gonna reach out to a lot of the coaches who have been a part of this, and thank you guys all year. We love leaning on you guys, and even the guys that we haven't leaned on all year. It's always awesome to get a text or a phone call from a guy. Doesn't matter where you're from. If you have our number, reach out to us. No doubt about it. If you need my number, reach out to somebody and they'll give it to you. I have no problem. I'm accessible. I know a vast majority of you guys are accessible. So, John, like I said, I have a feeling we might see a change or two by the time we get together next Monday.
All right. So, guess what? So, people have been asking, when does the voting end? Well, the voting is going to end on Monday at noon. And the Player of the Year is getting a little closer. Aiden Cook's lead is getting shrinker and shrinker as we go. Sam Hogue is still leading the Wall Award. So if you win the online vote, you are automatically in the Final Four, and you have a 20% more chance of winning both awards.
Yeah, it's huge. That's why we tell people to get out there all the time and vote. You have to get out there and vote. Give your guy a chance. I'll say it again. Both those players deserve to be in a list anyway, John, but you're automatically in the Final Four. There's no doubt about that. So you still have a chance to let your voice be heard. So by all means, get out there and vote early and vote often.
All right. So that was our State Champs Warrior Hockey Player of the Year and Wall Award update. And coming up, we're going to have our final thoughts as the regional finals are about to get going here. And so coming up here on State Champs Hockey Time.
Out here, it's not just about the hustle. It's about breaking the game. Every single day. Zeroing in on what we want, putting a target on it, and hitting the bullseye. Over and over again, because second best, that's for somebody else's story. The fire that fuels us, the bond that unites us, we don't just play the game. We set it ablaze. We break through.
And welcome back to Hockey Time. I want to make one clarification quick. So Keith Robertson's daughter, Kaden, is going to cheer at Minnesota, not Michigan. So my bad. It's a long, it's going to be a long day here at State Champs because we're going to be busy here.
That's a great campus. If people haven't been up there yet, Minnesota's a really cool campus. You just really, honestly, it's a great time up there. So congratulations, Little Robertson.
Yeah. So and good luck to them. Good luck to Brighton in the state finals and all, in the cheerleading state finals and all the teams that are competing at the MHSA competitive cheer state finals. So good luck to all the teams tonight in the regional finals. I want to talk about the trophy presentation. We've seen some, when they raise up the trophy like this, they get all excited. I feel like they haven't won as, regional ever. Or you get some teams that don't want to touch the trophy because they feel like it's like superstition. What's your take on that?
Have fun. This is
like Clarkson right here last year. They were worried about touching it for superstition reasons. And
no, you know what? Do whatever works best for you. But I would suggest have fun. Really, I that would be my suggestion. You don't know how many opportunities you're going to have like that. I don't want to be disrespectful to Coach Breyer or anybody else. If that's the tack that they take, honestly, do what works for you. But in my mind, have fun. As we talked about before the playoffs started, John, for a lot of these guys, this is going to be the last competitive hockey that they play. So you know what? Throw out every cliche, leave nothing on the table. Go out there, play your best, and have fun doing it. That's what it's all about at this level.
All right, so we got a busy night ahead of us. I'm going to be heading down the road to Cranbrook. So, Sean, where are you going?
I'm heading out to Heartland, like about 700,000 different people. Of course, only about 900 of us are going to get in, but heading out to Heartland, Coach Hunter and I are going to pick up Barbecue Mike, and we're going to all be heading out there for that. And hey, good luck to everybody tonight. Man, it is an accomplishment to get in this position, to put yourself in a position to put that mitten above your head and have some fun with it. Good luck tonight to each and every one of you, and just have a blast doing it.
All right, so that is it for State Champs Hockey Time. And be ready for all the celebration stuff that we're going to be posting on social media tonight and next week. It ends.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Oh, but we're not wrapping it up yet. We got that one announcement we got to make. So, Sean, let's talk about what's going to be happening on Saturday for the quarterfinals.
I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know who had this great idea.
So it's going to be State Champs Score. So we're going to have live look-ins of the quarterfinal action, and we're going to have this starting at 7:30 p.m. on our State Champs YouTube channel. So we're going to be showing live look-ins. We'll show highlights from earlier games. And so it's going to be you and Barbecue Mike.
Is that when we're doing 7:30?
Yep.
I just found that out, which is awesome, because I think we've all been so excited about this. I think it was John Watson that came up with this idea, so I want to give John full love. Hey, listen, if you watch the NFL, you've got the Red Zone channel, and it's such a cool thing to have people that are passionate about this game talking about this game, and Johnny's going to be doing his things. Nobody edits and gets the highlights out there like John Kidd. It's immeasurable. But hey, if you're looking for a place to talk about the action that's going on Saturday and find out, in real time, the scores, we're going to have all the games out in front of us, and we're going to be able to react with you in real time. So we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so like we did on Hockey Time today with our coaches' interviews, we're going to try to get these coaches to come on after they win.
I hope they do. For you guys out there, if you're lucky enough to find yourself in a position to win your game on Saturday, we'd love to have you. Just know we're probably going to be reaching out. We hope that you can give us a couple minutes to kind of preview your team and the trip to USA Hockey, because that's what it's all about, John.
All right, so show that graphic one more time, Kevin. So it's going to be State Champs score, and it's going to be on the State Champs YouTube channel starting at 7:30 on Saturday. So lots of fun here. So, all right, now we're going to wrap it up here on Hockey Time. So, Sean, I know, what do you say every week on Hockey Time?
Well, see you at the rink.
State Champs Network is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Be curious, make magic. Visit ltu.edu today. State Champs Hockey Time is powered by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Warrior Hockey is proud to sponsor the Michigan High School Hockey Player and Goalie of the Year Award. Warrior Hockey is made for this. The Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the hub, mihshockeyhub.com. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Reaction Technologies, up your game. Go to reactiontechnologies.com for more information.